strategy is to support the Iraqi security forces in doing what we will not do for them. The United States is prepared to train them, to equip them, and to back them on the battlefield with coalition military air power as they take the fight to ISIL in their own country. The United States is not going to be responsible for securing the security situation inside of Iraq.
All right, folks, that is, I guess, the most honest thing the White House has said about fighting ISIS in Iraq up to this point. And joining us now is John Hanna, Senior Counselor, Foundation for the Defense of Democracies, former Deputy National Security Advisor to Vice President Dick Cheney. Hello, John. I mean, when I heard that, I was a little taken aback, but, you know, they've tap danced around that. They've said it in all different ways, and today, I think, was the most definitive statement we've had, and he laid his cards on the table. Hey, Iraq, you're on your own, baby.
Yeah, no, I think that's the bottom line, Steve. Although he wasn't quite honest. He said we are prepared to do certain things for Iraq, to train and equip, to have a serious air campaign. But even those things aren't happening. Even those things aren't being done seriously. That's the fundamental problem here. So we're not waging the war that the president declared 9 months ago was vital to our interests. And in the process, we're also handing this show over to the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, which will be a disaster for the United States.
Without a doubt. And look, so tell me what happens when ISIS occupies what, you know, most people now refer to as Iraq, although there are many guests I have on who say Iraq as we've known it no longer exists. When ISIS has that foothold and that stronghold and that swath of land and territory, what does it mean?
Well, at a minimum, we know what it means already. The caliphate is getting recruits, it's winning territory, it's taking military victories, it's defeating the greatest superpower in the world, the United States. Thousands of Westerners are on the move or inside of Syria and Iraq already fighting for these guys, all with passports that'll bring them back here to the United States. And for anybody who doesn't believe that ISIS at some point in time is going to be directly sponsoring, supervising, and plotting attacks, major attacks against the United States and the West, I think they're drinking the Kool-Aid. We're in great danger. The longer this goes on, the higher the cost it's going to be to us and our standing in the world, and American blood will flow, I fear.
And okay, and what about the countries in the region? When this is now our stated policy, and, you know, and we're not helping the Kurds, and we're not helping anybody, we're not doing anything, you know, they talk about, seems like they've been talking about 2,000 airstrikes for the past 4 months. It doesn't seem to have gone up much, that number. Are they going to step up? Aren't they frightened to death, some of them, of ISIS, you know, heading their way next?
I think absolutely the case, especially for our Sunni Arab allies. But let's face it, this is the Middle East. This is a place where you go with the strong horse. ISIS looks like the strong horse now, or Iran looks like the strong horse. These are two mortal enemies of the Sunni Arabs. But believe me, if they are forced to choose, if they're abandoned by the United States, we saw this show in the 80s and 90s with the Saudis throwing money at Salafists and Wahhabis all over the world, and the end result was 9/11. I don't think we want to see that movie again. So without United States leadership, though, my guess is those Sunni Arabs will make their bed in one corner or another and put themselves in a camp that is absolutely unfavorable to the United States.
And one more, very quickly, John. We don't have a lot of time. There's a story today on Fox that U.S. military pilots are complaining that their hands are tied, and it's frustrating them in the fight against ISIS because they're not allowed to, there's no quick response bombing. Everything has to go through a whole hierarchy, and everything has to be pre-approved and pre-planned. So these bombing missions that we hear about, you know, it's not like, oh, they see something, they go get them. No, it's just like, it seems like it's more for show.
Oh, it's absolutely for show. At best, 15 combat missions a day compared to 800 per day during the Iraq War.
Right,
this isn't serious. He hasn't been willing to put forward air controllers on the ground.
John, I appreciate your time. We'll speak to you again. I look forward to it. John Hanna, ladies and gentlemen. All right, folks, Give Me Five is next, as you well know. But first, the Daily Wrap follows the Steve Malzberg Show every night, as you also well know. So here's co-host Rick Unger to give us a preview of tonight's Daily Wrap that kicks off right at 7 p.m. Eastern. Here he is.
Thanks, Steve. Lots to talk about tonight on The Wrap. Governor George Pataki joins the ever-expanding field of candidates running for president. Donald Trump is expected to announce on June 16th that he, too, will be making a run for the presidency. Is it yet another publicity stunt, or is the Donald really serious this time? Senator Rand Paul thinks crime is not a race problem, but rather a spiritual problem. We'll try to figure out what he means by that. Finally, former Senator Rick Santorum, who yesterday announced his own run for the presidency, has a slightly different opinion than fellow candidate Governor Mike Huckabee regarding the Josh Duggar molestation scandal. We'll talk about all that and much more tonight on the Daily Wrap, immediately following The Steve Malzberg Show.